everybody, it's Stefan. I guess our topic for this week is being genderqueer in the South or wherever you're from. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about Tallahassee because that's where I've been most queer for most of my life. Um, Being genderqueer in the South is pretty sucky politically and stuff like that. Just because like the general atmosphere is more conservative, but personally, I really haven't had a whole lot of trouble. I've never had anybody like be really mean to me or anything like that. And I think that Tallahassee is kind of a more liberal little bubble because of the college campus and stuff like that. Um, the only problems I've ever had is like, oh, you're in the wrong bathroom and stuff like that, and that's not really like that much of a problem. Um, Some people, I guess, might stare if I'm particularly flamboyant or rainbowy, or if I'm with a whole bunch of other queer people. But generally, I usually pass as male, and nobody really cares. Um, the only times when I'm hassled a little bit more is like when I'm walking down the street with Rachel, and we're both kind of androgynous looking, and they're like fags or dykes or whatever. This one time, this guy drove by and he was like, "Stop eating pussy!" And we're just like, maybe you should start, then you'd have a girlfriend. But anyways, yeah, but then they just drive away and it's not really a big deal, and it's mostly funny than anything. An interesting thing is that in more liberal areas, I think that people see me as queer more often, and when I'm in more conservative areas, people just think I'm a boy. Um, an interesting story about that is when I went to the farmer's market in Tallahassee, we were by the flower stand with the lady selling the flowers, and she seemed more like as an in-town, like, type person, and she's all like, "Oh, how you ladies doing, blah, blah, blah." And then, later, like a few minutes later, we were walking by one of the farmers who had like the fruits and vegetables and stuff. So he probably like lived further out of town to have his farm and whatever. And he was all like, "Ooh, I saw you smooching on your boyfriend, blah blah blah," like gendering me as male and Rachel as female. So it was a lot more heteronormative in his eyes. So I'm not sure if it was like a gender thing because she was a girl and he was a boy, or whether it was like a rural or in-town thing or whatever, but it's kind of interesting, because usually people want to gender us the same. Let's see. So yeah, there's a fairly large queer community in Tallahassee, and especially on FSU campus. Um, the Pride Student Union is big enough now that we have our own house. So there's a lot of activities on campus, and there's also the Family Tree Community Center, which has a lot of events for queer people. And there's a large trans population as well, especially younger trans men. I don't really know a whole lot of younger trans women. The trans women that I know are mostly older. But there's genderqueer people who show up at all sorts of things. Some genderqueer people are in trans spaces, and some of them are just, in general queer spaces. But there's not actually stuff specifically for genderqueer people. Nothing as awesome as Jen's genderqueer speed dating in Boston or anything like that. But I don't think, like, it's not necessarily like a community identity, but people are genderqueer and nobody cares, and it's all good. Um, let's see. I'm originally from upstate New York, but I really wasn't out as genderqueer then, even though it was pretty obvious because I look pretty much like I do now. I mean, you've all seen my childhood and high school pictures by now. You know what's what. And so, like, when I go back to visit or whatever, it's not really a huge deal, but I didn't really have any community while I was there, and I don't really, like, have a lot of friends and stuff like that when I go home. The one thing that was really awesome, though, was spending a semester in New York City, because just being in a huge city has this awesome, like, nobody cares who you are, anonymous quality to it, and nobody bothers you, and you can do what you want, you can wear what you want, and you're just like, oh, whatever, it's New York City. And there's, a huge community center there with, like, queer events all the time, and a really, big art community, which are full of queers. And it's just really awesome to be in a place like that. Um, in Portland, when I visited, it was really cool like that too. Just lots of HRC stickers on people's cars, which, HRC kind of sucks at the moment, but it's good to see lots of queer people around. Um, let's see. Um, being queer friendly is one of the main criterias of the place that I want to move to next. I think we'll have a pretty good chance of having a queer friendly place just because, a lot of major universities and stuff have like a more younger, hip, queer friendly population, and they don't really care as much. Um, and I don't remember ever feeling unsafe in a place right now, as of yet, and I don't really feel like starting. So, um, definitely being queer friendly is one of our top priorities when we move to a new place. So I'm really hoping I get into UC Davis and get to go over to California, or get into San Francisco State University and go over there. We were really scared about applying to UT Austin because we were like, ew, Texas, but then everybody's like, oh, well, Austin is awesome, so that'll be okay too. So I think that we've picked pretty good places to apply to schools, and we'll see. Yeah. Um, I don't really know what else to say on the topic because I really haven't had a whole lot of trouble with my gender presentation or anything like that. I've been lots of places, and even overseas, like, nobody really cares. So I don't know.